Welcome to the Fantasy Wise guys. We are here low key on in the basement, Zoom style.
Yeah, man, it's like 2020 again.
Well, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're so happy to see you, Mike Meals here.
Joey Puma, how you doing?
The apocalypse this weekend, Puma. I mean, this is an
Ugh.
insane time to enter fantasy football.
Yeah, we could empathize with our friends and foes out there that it is a very hard time, especially, Mike, with all the injuries that are going on in the NFL right now, it makes it even tougher to find streamers and play a great matchup against your opponent this week.
Oh, for sure. And then that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to go over some of those injuries, go over the teams on bye. We're going to quickly give you some of our spot streams. Who do we like to play this week? But real quick, Puma, I want to get into this Monday night game. Or let's talk about both games real quick. Who was your favorite player from this past Monday night games, week 7?
You, for me, man, you can't go wrong with Mr. Babyback Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs, he was a dog this past week, man. He was going off. They didn't even know that David Montgomery was on the freaking team. I mean, 17 rush attempts, 136 rush yards. I mean, 82 through the air, two touchdowns. The guy was an animal. And if you had him in, PPR, he destroyed things for you, especially if you were down in a matchup or whatever. But for me, he was my not only like MVP of Monday night, but of the week, of the weekend. And for me, he's like my RB2 on the year, next to Jonathan Taylor, of course.
Yeah, you mentioned David Montgomery like basically being
Being a non-entity.
completely eliminated from that offense yesterday. I mean, what's going on with that? Because this year we were told that we were probably going to see a lot more Jahmyr Gibbs, and now we are. Like, are we worried about David Montgomery if we have him? Like, are we looking to move him?
That's a very good question, Mike. I mean, the report, starting back in July, you got reports out of Dan Campbell and the Lions regime that they were going to uptick Jahmyr Gibbs's rush attempts and his workload, and they have not disappointed. If you took Jahmyr Gibbs as a top 5 pick, you are happy as go lucky to have him. On the David Montgomery side, Mike, I mean, it is trouble in paradise. If you're relying on him as an RB2, I wouldn't even go that far. I think he's flex or bench considerations. He's really basically on the matchup. If it's not a prime time game like Sunday night, Monday night, or a matchup you feel like he will feast, I cannot start him right now. Right now, he is uh, bench worthy for me, but not cut worthy because, again, God forbid, Jahmyr Gibbs, with all the injuries going on in the NFL, David Montgomery becomes an RB1, top 5 RB if anything were, God forbid, to happen to Jahmyr Gibbs.
He had two big games this year, one where he had the 29.4 fantasy points full PPR, and then he had 18.2 full PPR. So besides that, he's been pretty underwhelming. Yeah, David Montgomery, I mean, he could be a boom or bust depending on like game script and how they wanna, how they want to use him.
Yeah, no, and I 3 weeks ago, I think a month ago, I traded for David Montgomery and I traded Javonte Williams and Deebo Samuel. But a lot of people don't know is that I play in a keeper league, so I got back a second and a fourth rounder for those players. Not that I'm giving up. Sometimes I just like to ammo up. But I knew that, if anything, God forbid, were to happen to Jahmyr Gibbs, I have, a RB1 in my hands and a blue chip. So I'm still not regretful of the trade. It's just, now you got to play the matchups. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and obviously leading back to the Monday night game, I mean, sometimes you're going to see games like that and that where you don't really see anything out of them. And for me,
Right. And, especially at home, someone that really disappointed for us, Jared Goff. I mean,
oh,
because
awful.
of,
I had him starting in a league. It was miserable, man. I
you
can't
know,
even. Ugh.
And Jared Goff at home is usually very good, but he's another one like David Montgomery. He has only like a handful of games that he's really had an impact, maybe 2 or 3 out of the whole season. Right now, the only, products that I could trust on the Lions offense is Jahmyr Gibbs and St. Brown. because Laporta's hit or miss, and Jamison Williams. I mean, we really have to have a discussion, with Bipocalypse here. Do you really think about cutting Jamison Williams, JMO, just because of roster construction? Say you're a two-win
Yeah.
team, three-win team, you need a win this week. What do you do?
He's another boomer bust guy. Like, and for me, I have him in a league. I thought of, like he was one of the first people that came to mind this week when I was adding players to like in terms of dropping. And I just can't do it yet. I would hate to even go
The
against him.
potential, the potential makes you think twice.
You have to, you gotta at least, unless you have an absolute necessary need because of injuries or something, and you're trying to keep people on the squad, then I guess if you have to do it. But yeah, for the most part, if you can keep him, I would keep him just because, you don't want to be caught on the other end once he starts popping off. But my favorite guy from Monday Night Football was my man, Mr. Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN. I mean,
Ooh,
he has overperformed and just exceeded everybody's expectations this year, specifically because I guess a lot of people were concerned with his slot role back in the day, which he used to run 75% of his routes in the slot. And they were concerned about that. But this year, he's running 77% of his routes outside the slot. So he went from 75 in to 77 out. And now he's seeing a lot more volume. He's averaging 22.1 points a game. And then the other day he had 14 targets, 8 receptions, 123 yards, a touchdown. I mean, in that, so in full PPR, everybody was, these guys like Jahmyr Gibbs and JSN won you your game most likely. I mean, he's had 26 points, 30, 27. Like I said, he's averaging 22 points a game right now. This is unheard of. He's leading the league in receiving yards, 696. He's on pace for over 2,000 receiving yards. And I mean, 16.6 yards of reception, 42 receptions. You know the deal. JSN is like an absolute dream come true right now for everybody. And me watching him, I have him in 2 leagues. I was talking about it today. I wanted to buy his jersey because you know us, we love our jerseys. Now, dude, I saw that all his jerseys are sold out.
wow.
I was trying to buy. Well, they have the green one, but I don't want the green one. You know what I
I
mean?
like that retro one, that 1980 one.
The light bluish one, or it's like kind
Yeah,
of, dude, that's the one I was looking at. Of course, my
that's
size all
sick.
gone. So unless I want to go
Um,
3XL or youth size, I'm kind of beat
well,
on
we
that.
knew referee Nate Jones probably has some JSN stock in fantasy
Oh
because he
my
was
God.
bodyguard from Whitney Houston on him. He was lit for my old
Len,
folk out there.
You
He
really
was
got to put that
protecting
on
him.
this. You got to put that on the screen, Len.
He was protecting him with dear life.
Dude, yeah, JSN is a league winner, man. I mean, you drafted him third or fourth round, obviously with the expectation that he was going to be good. This is a first round pick next year. If he keeps up, God willing, everything goes well for the rest of the season. But JSN, I mean, kudos to you, man. Those Ohio State wide receivers, they never disappoint.
No, and we're looking forward to Jeremiah Smith next year.
So, but this week he's on bye. You got 6 teams on bye this week. You have the Detroit Lions, Arizona Cardinals, LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Las Vegas Raiders. So, I mean, who becomes relevant now? You got a lot of guys that have Trey McBride, and he's on bye this week, and they probably only have him rostered. So there's probably a lot of tight ends. You got a lot of injuries. I mean,
Yeah, no, especially that it's let's not forget to mention it's National Tight End Day. So, if you have a Trey McBride out there, me personally, I'm looking on the wire, maybe against our New York Jets, Noah Fant, with old man Joe Flacco, maybe he could get into the end zone. He got into the end zone against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why not, Mr. Noah Fant? And, but Joe Flacco has always noted to utilize the tight end very well. And especially against the Jets, they give up the fourth most fantasy points to the tight end position. I say it's a win-win if you're looking to stream a tight end on National Tight Ends Day.
that's interesting. I didn't even realize that was the whole like I guess that's the a real holiday or not a real one,
Yeah,
but you know
yeah,
what I
yeah. Like
mean.
it's every week 7 or 8, and it happens to be on the Bipocalypse. So you know what my parlays are gonna have.
Wow. I mean, that's a good move. And honestly, that's for me like where I guess you have to really play it this week. You want to look for the nice matchups. One thing I noticed was Dalton Schultz has been getting a lot of targets right now too. Um, this is a Houston Texans tight end, Mr. Schultz, pretty old. What is he, like 32, 33 now? But the other night he had 9 receptions, 98 yards on 10 targets. The week before that, 6 targets. Now that they have a lot of injuries over there, no Nico Collins this week because of the concussion. Christian Kirk, I mean, who knows when he's gonna like play and be healthy. To me, it's similar to the situation of the Cade Otton stuff last week, where you have a team that is decimated at wide receiver, and then they have like three guys that everyone's trying to figure out which wide receiver I'm going to play this week. Why not go tight end? Because CJ Stroud looked right at Dalton Schultz all week, or not all week, all game on Monday. You know, yeah, I'd love to say Kate Otten, but Dalton Schultz is a guy this week that you could play, especially against the 49ers. I expect them to be trailing. I expect them to throw the ball a lot. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't mind it. Especially with the all the injuries that are going on in the wide receiver corp. I don't see why not. He can't get additional targets, especially against the New Orleans Saints, who is a weak matchup.
Yeah, real weak man. Wait, what do you mean, Saints?
You were saying Kate Otten, right?
Oh, no, 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 no. Dalton Schultz. Kate
Oh, Dalton
Otten was
Schultz.
who I
I was
said.
still on your play of the week.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
was that's
Schultz.
what I was saying. Like, so I was relating them both because of the fact that
Oh, right,
they
right, right.
both
Okay, you
have
got
a.
me like a little confused. Okay, so if we're talking about Dr. Schultz, or like the foot gel, I will steer away from that just because of how bad and regressing that CJ Stroud is playing. He's playing against that Robert Saleh defense. I don't see much scoring in that game. I know it's National Tight Ends Day, but the tight end on that field that day that will score is George Kittle. I do not see much going on with the Texans offense. I mean, you saw what Seattle did to them. They could not move the ball, and when they did, they had a hard time scoring in the red zone. So even though the numbers say that the San Francisco gives up the 18th most points, I personally cannot trust Dalton Schultz. And a lot of people will say, oh, he's the only target there with, the injury to Nico Collins. But, and Christian Kirk, no Christian Kirk. But also I look at it, yeah, he's the only target. So, everyone's going to be keying on Dalton Schultz, the veteran tight end. So for me, it's a no-go.
All right. Well, to each his own, my friend. And honestly, real quick, I just want to take a moment to address something. We had a comment the other day. I had mentioned Cade Otton as the start of the week. Somebody commented underneath it saying, well, I don't want to start Cade Otton. I'm going to start Dalton Schultz. I said, kudos to you. He might actually score more. He did, sure. But just to explain real quick, when we reference a start of the week versus a stream of the week, a start of the week is someone like to us where they're most likely on your bench, they're rostered somewhere, but they're
Right,
not startable every week. But
right,
you see a good matchup for them and you call them the start of the week. A stream of the week is most likely somebody that's in free agency or on waivers that you claim that you're
right.
playing one week and you're probably done with them for the rest of the season. Maybe you'll keep them on your bench or whatever. But because for the most part, we're not going to mention guys like JSN or Jahmyr Gibbs as the start of the week because clearly
Yeah.
you're starting
Well,
them
you're
every week.
clearly starting. Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to explain when people ask us like, "Wait, why are you talking about Marvin Mims or why are you talking about who was the one guy you brought up last week who people like wouldn't think about? Who was your last spot or your start of the week?"
Not Keon Coleman like weeks ago.
Well, that's another one. That's exact perfect example. Like,
Right.
sure, yeah, duh. Like, we're not going to start Keon Coleman over Jamar Chase, or we're not going to
No.
say put him in over Jordan Addison. Like, we're some things we're expecting you as an audience to
Right.
understand.
If the matchup is there, and also too, like when you say stream of the week is basically, roster, who percentage, right? Who has the most shares of this player? Usually that will be sub what, 70%, 60% under that. As long as you could acquire this player, we try to do analysis and deep dive into the most people that would be available for you to use in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, another, I guess, broken receiving room, like we were talking about, the Buccaneers. So Mike Evans, broken collarbone,
Right.
Bucky, Irving, and Chris Godwin out for week 8. I mean, I guess your boy Tez Johnson really becomes a play here. So how do you feel about Tez Johnson going forward rest of season?
I love it, Mike. And the Pez toy, Tez Johnson, I love him. And you know what? He filled in greatly for Mike Evans. Unfortunately, he got hurt, broken cat clavicle. He'll be remiss the remainder of the season. But Tez Johnson, Mike, I mean, he did wonders on Monday night. He had 4 receptions for 58 yards, 9 targets, right? Now, you could probably say that's a little skewed because Mike Evans was out. But also, let's remember, Amika Ibuka was playing in that game. So I don't know if Amika was fully healthy. I don't know if he'll be fully healthy going forward. But I know Tez Johnson is healthy. And for me, he's a wide receiver, two, if not a flex play. Based on the matchup. And, Baker Mayfield, I mean, listen, he had one bad game, but the guy has been MVP solid all year long. So I'm playing Tez Johnson.
Yeah, man. I mean, and you made a great point too in terms of health. Emeka Egbuka, you seen him in the first 5 games. He was elite. He was double-digit points no matter what. These last 2 games, 4.4 points and 9.8 points. I think it's safe to say, yeah, he's a little banged up right now.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So that's why, for me, I don't think the hamstring is fully healthy right now for Emeka Ibuka. And I feel like he just played that game because it was a Monday night game and that he got an extra day rest. Usually everybody plays on a Sunday. So that is something I would watch out for. Maybe future scratches, like day of inactiveness for Emeka Ibuka.
Yeah.
So I believe it is stock soaring for Tez Johnson because, Mike, at the end of the day, availability is better than talent. And if you're available to play and have the opportunity, Tez has made the most of it.
He's had double-digit games in the last or double-digit points in the last 3 games, and he's had a touchdown in those last two that I said Ekbuka has been down. So they got a week 9 bye coming up. You can expect Ekbuka to probably get a little healthy over that time, but
Right.
yeah, Tez right now is definitely he's the one. Last week we were questioning, is it Tez Johnson, Cam Johnson, Sterling Shepard? I mean, forget them all. Tez is the guy. He really does. I heard somebody else say this, so I don't want to act like I came up with it myself, but I really did think it similar too. He really does remind me of Tank Dell, like just the smallness of
Yeah.
him and the speed.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Especially with the agility, very twitchy. So that's a good comp on your end.
Yeah, to Tez Johnson though, he's the man. What else? So you got Jayden Daniels now too. He's ruled out. He's not going to play this week.
Right.
McLaurin and Deebo doubtful. I mean, is there anybody even worth a start from over there? Like, dude, I got stuck with Luke McCaffrey the other day. I can't even believe I did it. This is one of those things that like us wise guys sometimes will just make too many moves, and I'm like, I was
Yeah,
overthinking that pick.
you know what they say, sometimes you're too smart for your own good. But no, I think that going forward, I really do believe that the Commanders, especially for Monday night, fire up that Chiefs defense because they are hot. You have the backup quarterback. Mariota came in, he looked terrible. I know I started him personally this year, but that was against the Vegas Raiders. Again, that was against the Raiders.
A
So,
stream.
yeah, stream. You see what I mean? So for me, I'm looking elsewhere if I have to start Mariota. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but I am maybe even looking into Tyrod Taylor just because
You're sick.
just because of the matchup is really good. Cincinnati gives like the second most fantasy points to fantasy quarterbacks. Look what Aaron Rodgers just did to them this past Thursday. So listen, like if you want to get really dirty, That's a dirty play.
Dirty. Oh man, that's a filthy one. But yeah, from this Commanders team, I am not interested in starting any of these receivers. When I
No.
had to look up Chris Moore just because I couldn't remember the name right away, that's when I knew I needed less of more, if you know what I mean. And then McCaffrey, forget it. You're nothing. You're like your brother. We should change your name to like McLaughlin or something. And then
Oh, that was a good one.
and who's the other guy? Jalen Lane or whatever. Listen, not bad, but you're stuck in the whole mix with them. I don't, I can't start these guys, man.
Yeah, I know. I truly believe you, and I hate to say it, but Jayden Daniels with the injuries, I don't know. It's giving me RG3 vibes, and that's what I thought of when he did come into the league. I said, like I could really prosper off this guy's rookie year, but he is so slender, and going forward, I could see him get hurt. Not that I wish that upon anyone. I think he's a very talented player. I love watching him, but it just gave me that RG3 feeling of coming on the scene. And then sophomore Jinx with the injury was never the same again. So let's hope that that is not his path, but it's kind of looking like it, like the yellow brick road.
Yeah, I pray for him because he's one hell of a player, and that team is so much different. Like with him, he still had his good games, but yeah, he's so small. He gets banged up so easily, man. I didn't really want to draft him this year because of that.
No, yeah, and I knew, second year. I mean, it's a great second year for your boy Drake May, but
Oh,
uh,
very
but
happy
for
with
the
that.
other guys, yeah, not so good.
Real quick about Drake May. Have you seen that page that I always send you, the Drake May lover page where the guy just like posts Drake May stuff all the time?
That was funny.
Dude, those guys they crack me up. And honestly, you know, it seems like a dumb page, but these guys have like hundreds of thousands of followers. People love this shit, bro.
They do, they do. That's you got to give them a show.
So another, what we were talking about earlier, another team that kind of questionable if there's guys that you could stream this week. Nico Collins suffered that concussion, like I said. You got no Christian Kirk there. Is there anybody there worth the start? You got Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Xavier Hutchinson.
The only one I would consider is maybe Noel, and that's like a three wide receiver league, and he's your fourth as the flex. But other than that, like, no.
I think it's a
No,
similar situation to the Commanders. It's like you don't want to play
no,
that
you
game
do
of
not
rushing the
want
limit.
pieces. There's three offenses right now I do not want a piece of, and that's the Houston Texans, the what was the team you just mentioned?
Washington Commanders.
Commanders, and but not least, the Tennessee Titans. I want no part of those
Wait, so
offenses.
say it all again, all three things, so I can make a nice reel of this.
I
What
do
teams don't you
not
want to
want
play?
any piece of the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, or the Washington Commanders. I think they're all disgust. They make me want to throw up my piece of deal.
Yeah, I mean those teams really like I've seen people like adding Alec Iomanner, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, is it
Right,
really
like
that
that, but
bad?
that's what I mean. Like it's become desperation mode. That other guy, DK, not bad. I thought his name was Dyke, but yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of players now that just like are injured, and then you're dealing with the bipocalypse. Like I said, I'm like me. I have Puka on IR in one. I got Travis Hunter in that same league on bye. I have JSN on bye. So I got Pittman in the lineup, and I'm throwing Marvin Mims in there. I'm not gonna go too crazy dropping other players to look for a receiver because I got Kayshon Boutte stacked with Drake May too.
Yeah,
And it's like, what options do you really have? Am I gonna pull some of these guys? I like the matchups for some of these players. Like, why would I risk it on putting in, three guys we haven't seen when I could play Marvin Mims with Bo Nix, who I know is going against Dallas? Like he might be
mhm.
the third guy, but we know he's been playing all year. You know what I mean? Same
Yeah,
Bengals quarterback.
I'm gonna give you guys a name out there that maybe you could keep an eye on, and that is from the Thursday night game. That is Mr. Trey Harris. He got some looks this weekend. I definitely think it's a stash candidate, Mike. I mean, with the Thursday night game coming up, if you have to play him, you're in one of those leagues. I mean, sure, do what you have to do. But Trey Harris, he had two grabs this past weekend. He had two receptions, 23 yards, two targets. But again, the week prior to that, five targets. So his snap percentage has been going up every week, 10%. Again, if you're looking for a desperation play, he has the quarterback that could do it.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston is still working his way back from that injury. I know he caught a
Yeah.
touchdown. So just someone to keep an eye out.
Yeah, Quentin Johnston, you already know, like you said, injury. Keenan Allen, you know about his injury
He's been
history.
fading. He's the old man on the block that has been fading some. I know
Yeah.
he had a touchdown, but like he's been fading some since the first 4 weeks of the season.
It's funny you mentioned the snap percentage because that's a huge factor, and even route participation. If you look at it, he started week one, 8% snap percentage. And then with the injuries by week six, he was at 83% snap percentage. So I definitely feel you there. And I love pieces of those offenses that are,
Right.
powerhouses.
Yeah, and with the running back situation right now, they have not made a move for a new running back. I know they have, been talks about our boy Brees Hall or
Mm.
Alvin Kamara, but right now they have Kamani Vadell and Hassan Haskins. So, for us, I feel like it's Justin Herbert time. Justin Herbert, it's going to be throw, throw, run, throw, throw, throw. So for me, again, have a piece of that offense, stash it away. And you know what? Maybe Keenan Allen or someone, God forbid, gets a hamstring or whatever. You plug them in. Maybe you got a wide receiver too, and be 10 steps ahead of your friends.
Yeah, personally, I think that Brees Hall might be headed to the Chargers. Of all teams, I could really see them making a move for him. And then watching him just like dominate over there with
Y-
Omari on Hampton once he comes back.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the Chargers are gonna be like my second favorite team because it's gonna
Oh,
have all the players that I like.
that'll be a sick jersey, right? The light blue Brees Hall jersey with the now,
Honestly, you know
now
which
he's
one?
officially Brees Lightning from there.
Yeah, that would work. Brees Lightning, and I personally would get the navy one. I know a
Ooh,
lot of people love the powder blue, but I grew up mid 2000s, navy blue, LaDainian Tomlinson. I'll never forget it, shattering records. So I'm a navy blue guy. I know there's not many out there. The orange, the mustard yellow's got to go though. I didn't like that. It reminded me of the color rush days. I was getting like spasms in my eye.
yeah. I mean, and if that happens though, and Brees Hall does go there, yeah, I could totally see it because Omari on Hampton, we can't expect him till like week 13 or 14 from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, there hasn't even been
Hopefully
any
sooner.
reports on his status, and that's what it made Kamani Vadell such a waiver wire ad because people knew, Hampton was going to be out for a extended period of time, and we already knew going into it Najee Harris was done for the year. So yeah, it makes it a real ad for especially a team that was supposed to be built on the running game.
Omari on Hampton, though, he's a stallion. Like that kid's body's gonna recover quickly. They're just being careful, like,
Yeah.
keeping him in the shadows. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him week 12. But speaking of the Jets, Justin Fields benched. You mentioned Tyrod Taylor being a potential start.
Yeah.
Like, are any of these receivers worth a start? I mean, I dropped Mason Taylor in a league recently. I see some people have kept him, some people are still starting him. I just personally want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Especially if anything happens to Tyrod, then you're relying on Fields coming back in and you're in the same position. Or Tyrod might not even play right now. I heard he's questionable.
Yeah, with a knee injury, but you heard the reports from Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets. I feel like Tyrod will play, right? And I say, almost upset. The New York Jets might get their first win of the year. I know it sounds
You're
crazy.
crazy.
Taylor to Taylor, tight ends day. Remember that.
If we have Tyrod Taylor, yes, I could see it happening. With
Oh
Justin
yeah,
Fields,
because
no.
I feel like, the best quarterback. that game was probably when they played Tampa. And that game was when Tyrod Taylor did start. So, again, it is the Bengals. I mean, they do have Jamar Chase, all of that. But you know what? Play for some pride. I don't know. I got a feeling, but I've been wrong before.
You know, I said this to you the other day, and I got to say it here live. It's a weird comp because it's NFL to NBA. But to me, Justin Fields is the NFL's version of Ben Simmons, a guy that started real young and fresh, got a
Yeah.
lot of attention, and then his mechanics of all of his underdeveloped qualities were starting to show. Mistakes were happening, heavily criticized by media, especially after signing a big contract. And now it looks like he is all in his head. He doesn't want to throw the ball like Ben Simmons didn't want to shoot the ball. They are almost identical to me. And I feel like Justin Fields, his mind right now is so tarnished. The guy seems so sensitive and soft spoken. I wouldn't be surprised if he cries in his room at night, but he looks like he's just not the same Justin Fields that you had on your fantasy team in 2023, back in the championship days.
Yeah, no, Mike, you're totally right. And you might have seen the last game ever from Justin Fields as a quarterback in the NFL. I mean, it has been that putrid, Mike. And you really can tell how much a difference Garrett Wilson makes. When Garrett Wilson is not playing, everyone keys on Justin Fields so he can't even run or do what he can do to get out of the pocket. It's just a mess right now in New York. And I think Justin Fields has played his way out of New York, New Jersey, whatever you want to call it, and this will be his last go round.
Well, I already told you Mason Taylor was definitely a drop candidate for me. So let me ask you the big question. Is Justin Fields actually a drop candidate right now? Like, are we just getting rid of him? Like, no need for him anymore. Not even hoping if he does come back or if Tyrod is playing.
Okay, so you know this league as well as I do, and I just said he might have played his last game, right? As a New York Jet. But things happen. So it all depends on your team and your record. If you're a losing team, under 500 or under, well, right now you would be under 500. No, I am not keeping Justin Fields. If I am a winning team, if I'm 4-3 or above, I might stash him on my bench, especially if I'm a super flex, right? We see how injuries happen. Tyrod Taylor in this week, he's out the following week, and then Garrett Wilson comes back, and now you have Justin Fields of week 1 through 3 where he's putting up 30 fantasy points, but just close your eyes. So, and honestly, like wins in fantasy is all we care about. We don't care about the outcome. We don't care how pretty it looked. We worry about how it got done, and and if the player got the points. So for right now, your answer to your question is I am dropping him if I am 3-4 or lower. If I am 4-3, I'm stashing him. But with the Bipocalypse, you might have to get rid of him just to make space. And Superflex, you cannot drop him. You cannot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I agree. The super flex to, single quarterback, huge
Yeah, there
difference.
is no white and black answer to this. It's more gray. It's dependent on the situation, your league size, your roster size, all that comes into play.
Absolutely. Now we only got 3 minutes left. Is there anything you want to highlight about the games tomorrow, or the game, should I say? We got Chargers and Minnesota. So LA Chargers and Minnesota Vikings tomorrow. Who's your favorite play? Don't tell me Justin Jefferson.
No, 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 no. Actually, I'm going with the theme, my man. I'm going with National Tight Ends Day. I'm going with a guy that people have not heard in a long time, TJ Hawkinson. He missed out on a touchdown this past weekend. I think Wentz is going to get him the ball. I think Minnesota could actually get a win. The Chargers are spiraling right now. And I believe that Minnesota can go in there and get a dub. I mean, they lost to the Eagles, which was a close game, but Wentz didn't make a couple of plays. And if they lean more on the run game, Why not? You saw what the Indianapolis Colts did to the Chargers. So I really like TJ Hawkinson in this game. Give me an anytime
And
touchdown.
I'm gonna go with the same team. I like Jordan Mason, just like you mentioned, the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, he had 94 yards and three touchdowns on him in that 32-point win. I'm sorry, in 32-point fantasy points he had. So they won 38-24. You see it already. Uh, like the Vikings, they might not beat them, but you know they can run through them. Jordan Mason now on his last week, probably alone before Aaron Jones comes back. This might be a nice little shot to get in there, get a little touchdown. I would definitely even stick him in a parlay for an anytime touchdown. Jordan Mason. We haven't seen him in the end zone
Yeah, actually, I think
in a
I'll
bit
take
too.
you up on that. We should do a little Hawkinson Mason TD $50. I think we'll get a little lunch money out of it.
I mean, because you got to figure them for at least two touchdowns, right? The team, like, they got to
Why
score.
not? Why not?
In terms of
Um,
like you said, in terms of like patterns that they could be destined for touchdowns tomorrow.
yeah, I think honestly the two people that I feel like are going to score is Hawkinson and Gaston, the waiver wire ad of the week.
Gaston. Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy was hot news this week. But yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow. We got another show coming at the end of the week. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm here, Mike Meals,
Joey Puma,
the Fantasy Wise guys.
master your game.